Hello, and welcome to Madness of the Lesser Light. I am your host, Mike Luna. In this episode, I'll be reading a piece entitled
Eddy Fall. Hey there, name's Eddy. Eddy Fall. You know Jack Frost? Yeah, well, he's my brother. Now, you're probably wondering, hey Eddy, if you and Jack Frost are brothers, how come your last name ain't Frost or his last name ain't Fall? Well, that's another story. We usually try to keep our familial associations under wraps. In fact, I may find myself under audit just for sharing this shit. Nah, I'll just blackmail the judge. That bozo owes me money anyway. Regardless, I am the proprietor of a lovely piece of real estate between summer and winter, also known as fall, or as fancy folks like to call it, autumn. Blech. Personally, I prefer calling my season of influence fall. It's got a nice ring to it, you know? It's snappier. That kind of catchiness is very important for our marketing campaign, by the way. Plus, it's more honest. It blatantly discloses what my business is all about. You know, fall, as in leaves falling off the trees. God, I hate puns. Nah, that ain't true. My sister Susie Summer and my brother Sammy Spring, they hate puns. 'Cause they take their jobs too friggin' seriously. Ooh, look at me, I make it really friggin' hot. Yeah, whoop-de-doo, big sis. You also give folks skin cancer. And don't get me started on my fruity older brother. Ooh, look at me, I make things start growing again after the weather was really friggin' cold and wet. Yeah, so what? So does Viagra, asshole. But hey, listen. You want to know what I do? Every year, somewhere between September 21st and September 23rd, or at the moment of the September equinox for you fancy folks, I send my goons out all across the globe to paint all the leaves of all the trees various shades of orange and red. We need to make sure it's nice and obvious what our targets are going to be those next few months, you know? Once we've completed step 1 of our operation, we then begin phase 2. Prior to dispatchment, I hand out baseball bats to all of my goons and enforcers and tell them to start whacking all the trees. No one's noticed us yet, since we of the ethereal plane already have the advantage of being invisible, as they say, but it helps to cover one's tracks as much as possible. Don't want the polar police to get suspicious of our activity and try to shut down our operations or dismantle our entire network, as they've endeavored to do with that fancy Global Warming Act they've been pushing through the legislative branch of the EWG. That's the Earth Weather Government, for those of you who are not already privy to that information. The Four Seasons are supposed to have a sit-down in November 2024 to discuss funneling some of our budget surplus into a trust fund to help pay public high schools to teach kids about this shit, actually. See, if that bill passes and then most likely gets ratified by Mother Nature and then put into practice by Father Time, then it's bye-bye icebergs and hello day after tomorrow. In fact, the reason you got climate change in the first place is because of these friggin' trees yapping about how they always want to be in bloom, doing better than the rest of us chumps. Yeah, I know. What a bunch of entitled pricks, right? They're nature's equivalent of the 1%ers. I remember calling one of those guys out. I said, listen, Treebeard, there's an ebb and flow to these things, okay? You ain't gonna change the weather to accommodate your tastes, alright, buddy? So stop ratting us out to the feds, capiche? If you don't like it in New England, then just move your ass to Florida. Just 'cause you're literally rooted in dirt doesn't mean you got the right to drag the rest of us hard-working individuals down with you just 'cause you don't like the friggin' forecast. Of course, we've also made an alliance with the cloud and vapor families, so we usually have the wind blowing at roughly the same time to keep any of you folks from getting too curious about the noise my boys are making with those bats of theirs. Don't want to lose favor with the public, you know? It's bad enough that the Flora and Fauna sisters hate our guts for killing their creations with our inclement weathery methods. Anyway, as the aforementioned whacking of these snitches you call trees continues, the leaves become dislodged from the branches by those dirty rats before falling into neat little piles on the ground below. Now, this is a very messy business, so we can't always guarantee that those piles will indeed be neat and tidy. Some leaves do inevitably land on the sidewalks and on people's lawns for folks to rake up. Yeah, sorry about that. Heh, not to mention in the streets for the street sweepers to come and clean up later, but that's why you folks pay taxes, right? I mean, think about it this way. Sure, my job ain't pretty and may cause mild inconvenience for people trying to commute to work, but hey, I'm helping the economy, aren't I? Come on, give this guy a break, huh? I'm a small business owner just trying to get by in a rapidly changing world. See, my buddies and we're just doing you guys a favor, you know? Our business creates jobs as well as mutually beneficial relationship between us and the government, you know? They get your tax money and we get to whack those troublemaking squealers called trees. There, bada bing, bada boom. Future financial crisis averted. Everyone's happy, rich, or dead. End of story. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go find that friggin' judge I mentioned earlier. I wonder if he'll be willing to sit down with me so that he and I can finally resolve our issues by having ourselves a very meaningful discussion. Otherwise, you can be sure that tomorrow's elemental obituaries will have an article about a corrupt member of the weather judiciary who met his untimely demise as a result of an unfortunate accident. Tonight's forecast? Cloudy with a chance of falling out a window. This has been Eddy Fall. Tune in for a weather update tomorrow morning, and stay sunny.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. See you later.